gonna be our official audio. Yeah.
Hey,
That's for sure.
listen, we're official over here. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Dorman Podcast. We are those gentlemen.
Those guys.
I am Evangelist, and with me, as always,
Steven in the building.
is in the building. Hey, anyway, so
First show of 2022, by the way.
first, hey, and Happy New Year to you all.
Happy.
We appreciate you staying with us for the last, let's say, 14 months? 15 months?
Yes, sir.
Around there. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of your support, your listens.
Thanks.
We are, man, because no one has to listen to us. There's so many options out there for, to place your listen. And you're here with us. We appreciate you.
Not too many that are funnier than us,
No,
by the way.
not too many. Are they out there? They probably exist.
Don't go looking for them.
Yeah.
Just
Right
stick
here.
with us.
You're here with us. Have at us. So, if you know anything about our format, we always play an intro that has something to do with what it is we're going to be speaking on. And then
Can you guess?
You heard the awesome Aretha Franklin
Aretha.
singing her respect rendition.
R-E-S-P-P-C-C-T.
So today, I mean, we're gonna go ahead and talk about respect.
Respect.
What kind of what role does it play in our day-to-day lives, the
Mhm.
operations, all that good stuff. So first off, respect is definitely an earned thing.
Yeah,
I
not a
don't-
given.
I don't think anyone expects, unless you're a kid, right? I mean, what
I
do
don't
we
think as a kid you even know really what respect is. I'm not sure
There you go.
what
That-
it is. Apparently, folks, I've had the microphone in my
You
mouth.
gotta have it there in the vicinity
Jesus.
of the mouth. Yeah, but so I mean, when we were as kids, I don't know. We thought, oh man, in order to get respect, you gotta give respect, and we thought, that we were somehow entitled to being respected.
Right.
Um,
But I don't think as a child, I don't think that you, maybe it's different from where you came from, but when I was younger, I knew what respect of, respecting your elders.
yeah,
But as far as somebody respecting me in second grade, I probably could give two shits.
right. No. I mean, I was in that boat. I was in the boat of you had to earn it, and in no way, as a child, were you entitled to getting respect. Not from adults, not even from your peers, right? Like, I did a lot of playing in the streets, right? I talk about just having a time in life where I found the streets fascinating. Like that gangbang lifestyle. It was super fascinating, right? So I went out and I played in the streets. And then what you realize quickly, you realize that in the streets, there's no one out there willing to give you that respect unless you take it, unless you take it from them, or unless you take that respect in their view, in their line of sight.
Or demonstrate in some way that they should respect you.
Sure.
Whether it be
Through force,
force or
through putting in work,
serving your community,
yeah, that's what we'll call it. Serving your community.
working at a food bank.
yeah. I mean, that would definitely earn you some respect from parents, from
Right.
people in authority, for sure.
Mhm.
But the respect that
And I don't mean community service, by the way.
right.
Voluntarily working
Right.
at a soup kitchen.
Soup kitchen. Okay.
Just gonna have to put that out there.
So I mean, where are we at today? Where are we at today with respect and how it's given, how it's viewed? I don't know. Today, today there's a lot of options. You know, we always pounce on the idea that there's so many options out there. There's so many options to live a life.
Well, I definitely think that there's a lot of misdirected respect.
Sure.
Undeserved respect
Right.
would be a better phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, if you're an influencer,
Sure. Oh my
you're
God.
respected ridiculously. And
Too much.
I don't understand it.
Right.
I don't get it, and I never will.
Again, I'm no critic on these gentlemen, but they've obviously done things to earn themselves a lot of notoriety. Right? The Paul brothers. They've obviously done things to gain their millions, and you know, I mean, one thing that you definitely look to do growing up is to gather your resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys have been able to muster up a plan to gather their resources. They've done it, and then they decided to choose the route of boxing in order to gain their notoriety. And now, at least within the last 2 or 3 years, right?
Why do you think they chose boxing?
I'm pretty sure as men, right? You know, growing up in that Disney world and that Nickelodeon world, I don't think you gain a lot of respect. You know, especially in the circles that they roll in. You know what I mean? Like
right.
because you know they don't hang out with like, just from my perception, they're not hanging out with other you know, soft-spoken dudes, or they're not hanging out with like you know, they're trying to get in with the Roughnecks, that roughneck crowd. And
right.
Can you imagine what these Roughnecks are you know, the kind of jabs that they take at them every day? They're probably like, oh, you Disney kid, Nickelodeon.
Well,
you know, probably a lot of that went on or is going on, right?
Well, I think they chose boxing because boxing is not what it was, even close to what it was. Boxing's kind of a joke now.
Well, in what way?
I mean, there are no. I would say boxing has little to no respect left, because
I don't know.
I mean, you have Canelo.
Come on, you got a guy like Tyson Fury.
Okay.
Greatest heavyweight boxer of all time.
Says who?
Man. Says anybody who knows the sport of boxing.
Of all time.
Of all time. All time. The guy is 6'9", 6'10", 6'9".
Of all, you're putting him of all time.
And he has the ability to box, to truly box.
You're putting him ahead of the greatest that's ever been.
He is the greatest in my eyes. From my understanding of the sport of boxing.
Agree to disagree. But
give me one guy who could best him in his prime. Yeah.
In his prime.
In his prime.
You think? I mean, it wouldn't be fair by the height. You think Tyson loses that?
Tyson loses that.
Oh man, you are fucking crazy.
The reason
a body shot by Tyson,
being,
prime Tyson, is putting that punch
question
on his back.
Can Tyson get that close to him? I don't know. I don't see Tyson getting close to him. Again, this guy's ability to box with his length, I don't see it. I don't see anyone coming close. He knows how to use his length. He knows how to use that jab, and he boxes. His ability to feint, his ability to get opponents to second guess themselves.
Sure. Anyway, my original point was boxing's not what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And in large part due to the fact that people like the troll himself, Don King, I think single-handedly ruined the sport of boxing.
Sure.
So when and I'm not taking anything away from those punk-ass Paul boys, but they go into a sport that is, I would say probably largely not as respected as it was when boxing was. People used to, sign up or, save for a week to get a pay-per-view with like 2 good fighters.
Yeah.
Now you have a fighter like, Canelo versus the fucking guy who was emptying the trash can earlier in the day. It's not fair. It's not fun.
Sure.
It's not good. It's not what there's no excitement to it.
Well, Canelo's a great boxer. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't take.
I'm not
take
saying that
anything
he's
away
not,
from
but I'm
Canelo.
saying anybody who goes against Canelo,
Yeah.
Until Canelo dies or gets older, he's going to be probably the most dominant in his division.
Well, there's not
But-
a lot of people that have worked on their gaining that notoriety
It's also my other point.
like him.
There was a point when you boxed for the USA Olympic team. Your goal was to be, in the limelight, Madison Square Garden, the Forum, wherever you want to put a boxing ring and be the main event, right? Now it's just like, I don't know, man. Boxing is just nobody left.
Okay, I mean,
That's what I mean by there's nobody left. So for Jake Paul or Logan Paul or whatever the hell his name is that jumps in the ring with Woodley, jumps in the ring with somebody old, jumps in the ring with somebody who's a has-been.
one thing you got to give credit to those guys. They have a way. They have a way of gaining the eyes, right? They have.
I think a lot of people tune in to watch those fights to see those guys get their fucking block knocked.
Sure, but they were able to gain attention,
Right.
So they were able to gain the attention through their years in the involved in Disney, and then finally with their podcast, and then so because these guys were doing a lot of that troll shit, right? They were doing things like
That's what I'm saying. They're trolling the sport of boxing.
sure.
You have this build up, this hype.
But then they're able to go in there against some, names, right? So the Ben Askren guy, of course he's a wrestler, he's not a boxer. But Ben Askren gained the notoriety in combat sports. So they were smart enough to get someone who was a super novice in the boxing world.
Right.
And then beat him up, right?
Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson, super novice in the boxing world, but he had a name, and they were able to beat him up in the ring. The last guy, Tyron Woodley,
Let me ask you this
super
question
novice in
about
the
that fight.
boxing world.
You're a fighter. I'm a fighter. Is that knockout or knockdown legitimate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. Because again,
So you prep for a
Tyron Woodley.
headshot and you move your hands down. That's what you
so Tyron Woodley is not a boxer.
do. Understood.
He is not a boxer. Has he been able to strike? He's been able to strike. He's been able to fight against, mixed martial artists. Mixed martial artists are not specialists in the game of boxing. So when
But they're strikers.
they're strikers, right? But
Okay.
it's not, doesn't necessarily mean that it translates into the boxing world.
Understood. But when you
Look how
When you
awesome
prep
of
for a
boxer.
headshot.
Look how awesome of a boxer. We thought. What's the guy's name? Conor McGregor. We thought he was going to be an awesome boxer, right? Because he's a great striker. He's a great striker, right? But because he can do things like his kicks are awesome.
Right.
He's
That's my whole point with Woodley is that you're boxing, right?
right.
And maybe it's just trained within inside you that somebody's throwing a headshot.
First off, that guy's a wrestler.
and you well, okay, well, he's still in MMA where you have to punch, you have to kick, you have to block. So maybe just out of instinct, instead of keeping his hands up at his head, he brought his hand down here and just opened himself. I mean, it looked to me in slow motion that he was bracing for it. I don't know. I'm not gonna go ahead and say conspiracy that it was a wash fight.
I think that
I
guy
think it was-
I think he truly lost the fight.
Well,
I think
I'm saying you probably
may have
give
been.
in those situations behind closed doors. To further my point on no respect in boxing, I think those Paul boys pick people
Sure.
who are struggling,
Absolutely.
maybe,
Absolutely.
and need a cash injection. And they say, hey, we'll give you this if you do this.
But I don't think. I think they truly challenge him to a boxing match, and I think these guys are just outmatched in the game of boxing.
Man.
I think these guys are actually decent enough boxers to be able to outbox.
So you think that
guys.
he has a chance against Masvidal now?
I don't think so. But again, we've seen that Masvidal he has been able to get knocked out, right? Because Masvidal he's and again we saw it with Anderson Silva. you start to get overconfident in your skill set, and then you do things that kind of lead you in harm's way. So, is there a possibility that these guys could get knocked out, like a Masvidal could get knocked out? It's absolutely
I'm
possible.
sure, but I don't think the Paul, either of the Paul brothers have the power to knock him out.
But man, we didn't think we didn't think Usman was going to be able to knock him out either. And
that guy's got hands like cinder blocks.
yeah, I mean, look, you have to give it. So these guys walk around at like 200 pounds, 190, 200 pounds. That's not a small. These aren't small guys, right? The Paul brothers, they're not small dudes. They've got enough weight. They can leverage their punches. They can lay people out. I mean, it's not that.
They don't have.
Are
no
they
respect.
do they have the skill set of boxers? Can they challenge a Canelo? No way.
And they never will.
No.
Because the Paul brothers will fight Canelo when Canelo reaches the age of like 60.
Well, Logan Paul is about to have a good test, right? Because he's going to be. I think that the Tyson fight is going to be, it's going to happen. I think. But
Mike Tyson.
Right?
Bro, Mike Tyson at age 60?
Age 50 something, sure. But I mean, again, he's a boxer. So I mean,
Do you think Mike Tyson is in the old Tyson frame of mind where he's gonna go knock that kid's block off? He's gonna eat a body shot, jab, jab, jab. It's gonna go 10.
did you see his last little exhibition fight against Roy Jones Jr.? Did you see it?
Yeah.
I mean, when he decides that he's going to get into the mindset, he's going to get into a mindset. Question is, does he still have it physically to deliver?
I put this question to a lot of people. For $5 million,
Okay.
are you stepping in the ring with Tyson for 3 full rounds? 3.
For $5 million? Shit.
But you got to go with the 3.
You got to do it the whole 3. I
whole
can
3.
do it for the whole 3. Sure.
I think one of those
You're
body shots.
backpedaling. You're running for a lot of it. You're trying to
I'm not saying I wouldn't try. I would definitely try, but
to not eat one of those.
if he gets one of those, forget it.
Yeah, forget it. But that's going to be a hell of a test for this Logan Paul dude.
I think it's a joke. I really do think it's a
comes to
joke.
fruition.
I think it's just.
Man, I think enough money is out there. It would be involved in that fight
But-
to where it could happen.
Understood, but again, you're fighting Mike Tyson in his 50s.
Sure. Who
If
still
you-
doesn't want to see Tyson fight in his 50s? I want to see it.
I'm not saying that everybody's
In
going to
his
pay to see
50s.
it, but it's going to go 10. It's going to go 10. It's going to be a draw. They're going to be like, oh, he's a great fighter. Like, fuck all the bullshit, man. Like, you got a script you got to read at the end of these fights. I'm not, again, I feel like I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think they're full of shit, and I don't think they can beat a real boxer.
No,
Go to
they
any
can't.
local gym, any guy hitting a bag at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday
Sure.
is going to whoop those kids' ass.
Sure.
Anybody.
Sure. No, they're absolutely beatable, right? But are they picking the right opponents? They're picking the right opponents.
There's no respect in that.
to
There's no
enhance-
respect in that.
Well, I mean, okay, so think about it like this, right? A lot of boxers who come up,
We're talking a lot about boxing, and we've
but I'm saying a lot of boxers who are coming up,
Mhm.
they will take these what you call smoker fights, right? They take these bums that will just allow them to develop that confidence in the ring, and that's a lot of what that early journey is about.
These guys were 0-0, and he put Askren on his ass. And then he knocked out Nate Robinson. And he's like, I want my respect. You beat a fucking 5'6" basketball player.
Sure, but I
I'm
mean,
like, who's never been in the ring?
again,
And the only punch he ever swung in the NBA was against Shaq in practice.
again, let's
Come on,
let's
dude.
divert this conversation to the respect factor, right? So obviously, these guys are gaining that respect factor
Well, they have
for themselves.
they have the
Right, so-
undeserved respect.
So sure, but let's talk about Jake Paul in his battle against the Nate Robinson guy, right? So he beats up Nate Robinson. He's gaining his respect for himself. He's respecting his.
Sure.
He's gaining the respect for his
Okay.
hands and the ability that his hands had to put some.
His hands.
Right, his hands had to
Oh.
put someone down.
There's, I
Sure.
believe,
So hold on.
I
hold on.
believe Stevie Wonder could have put Nate Robinson's
Okay.
ass down.
But let's hold on, right? So he's gaining this notoriety first and foremost because this Nate Robinson guy had a name in professional sports, and then he's beginning to earn the respect for his own hands. Him respecting his own hands. He's like, yo, like any boxer would go through. This is a progression that every boxer goes through. But the thing of it is this guy's doing it with many more eyes on him than the average boxer.
Let me answer this question. Me and you were bouncers for a very long time.
Sure.
Let's say we're bouncing and somebody, some older gentleman walks in
Okay.
in his 50s,
Okay.
10 years ago.
Sure.
I'm 30, he's 50. And he acts up and I put him on his ass and I come to him and be like, Evan, in respect for these hands, man, knock this 50-year-old out. Are you gonna be like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying that your what you just said he's getting respect for. How can you have respect for your hands knowing you knocked out somebody who's never boxed?
Well, again, it's not about what other people say about it. It's about him and his journey of respecting himself.
So you don't
Right.
think that that's manufactured, misdirected, undeserved respect for your hands, that you knocked out a
Man,
novice?
whenever these boxers move in that progression, move through that, like going from your very first fight to a championship fight, it truly is, a lot of it is a development of confidence in yourself,
Mhm.
right? You're developing this confidence in your ability. So each of those steps you take, each of those fights you take, you're developing that confidence in your hands, right?
I politely disagree. If I were to beat the shit out of 4 people on the street within a month and come to you and be like, man, these hands are rocks, homie. One was in a
Dude,
wheelchair,
a lot of that
one
false,
was old,
hey, a lot
one
of
was,
that false confidence
one was
gets
blind.
developed exactly like that.
That's weak.
I mean, we say it's weak, but guess what? All of these boxers, Canelo went through it, right? Canelo took these fights against nobodies when he was younger.
Right. And worked his way up.
There
He
was-
wasn't
sure.
0-0
Sure.
beating up fucking Oscar De La Hoya in a wheelchair.
Sure.
It doesn't make sense. It's,
Sure.
it's bullshit.
You know, and there were a lot of guys, and there were a lot of critics who said that Canelo took that Mayweather fight too soon in his own career, right?
Mhm.
But again, all of these things were in a lead up for him to develop that type of confidence, and then skill, or skill and then confidence, whatever order you want that. And these guys are doing the exact same thing.
I believe that it's manufactured temporary respect.
Sure.
Just
I
like
agree.
when I say an influencer, it's the Paul brothers.
Mhm.
And you know, kudos to them for getting their millions, for having assholes like us talk about them for the past
Sure.
19 minutes.
Yeah.
But
We're absolutely talking about it.
The other issue is people go out there like you heard about the Island Boys.
Yeah, I've seen it.
What the fuck is that?
Again, these guys are
Zero respect. Zero respect.
Well, again,
They are career trolls, and like again, if our podcast was big enough and big time, and they were on it, and they came up to me and you and said, got up, stood in our face and said, "Don't you know we're thugging?" I know myself, and I think I know you, where you would kindly word them to death, when I would throw them through the fucking window.
look, again, you know.
But I don't think they would
you know
say
me.
that to somebody who
But
looks
you know
like
me.
you.
I'm not
Or me.
gonna. If these kids are like little frail things,
I get it.
Like I see them to be. They seem to be real little kids.
They're like 87 pounds
Sure.
soaking wet.
Sure.
But it
I don't
doesn't-
see myself smacking them up. But
I wouldn't smack him. I said I would toss him like a paper airplane out the fucking window.
Yeah, I don't know.
But again,
Look.
it's that kind of shit. It's always on TikTok, or always
Sure,
on a
sure.
on a video that they can post and say this and that, and you know, to have 10 million followers means nothing. You have 10 million followers and have zero respect in this world.
Sure. I mean, and I'm not going to argue with that at all, not one bit. What I will say is that to put yourself out there, to put yourself out there, to be willing to trade, you know, for this type of notoriety. And they're, dude, like putting those funny looking tattoos on their face, putting themselves out there with, I mean, come on, it's the equivalent of the dancing monkey. It's the equivalent of the dancing monkey. They, someone, you know, and we'll say, let's go ahead and say it's their followers. Their followers are like, oh my God, look at these guys. And then with every view, with every click, with every, they're like, dance. You're pressing that little dance.
I mean, here we are, we're talking about them, so I mean, I guess they're doing something right.
Exactly.
But
so
again,
they've traded for this notoriety. They've traded for this. Is it respect? No, it's not respect. Right? Like,
I feel like you trade your own self-respect in that situation.
Absolutely.
You trade your own.
That's what we say.
Identity.
Sure, but is there a large population of young Americans, of young anyone's who are you know, watching these kids that respect them? Yeah, there's a bunch of people who are out there, and again, you have to. I think we have to assess who's out there, right? I mean, these are the same people that we complain about who are following the tyranny. These are the same people that we complain about who are blindly
led by social media.
Regurgitating these same talking points, you know,
Right.
of mainstream media. These are the same people who are out there.
Right.
These are the people who are watching these kids and showing them that respect and allowing them to, you know, to gain that, again, notoriety. For nothing.
Exactly. It's. I mean, again, when we were younger, right? You almost had to decide whether you liked Biggie or Pac, right?
Sure.
You couldn't like around certain people play them both. Maybe you get home, you put on your Walkman and you play a Biggie and a Tupac song back to back. I don't know, but now it's just like there's no allegiance. There's no like true fans of anything.
And again, I think we have to revert back to the explanation of today. There being so many options.
It's whatever's. I mean, there are options.
When we were younger, there are so many options, right? There were very few options to get to certain destinations in life. There were very few options to gain respect. Very few options to you know again, like let's talk about genders, right? So back in the days, everyone understood that there were males and then there were females. There were effeminate males, there were masculine females, but they knew that there were just males and females. Today, those lines are so blurred,
right,
that they're saying that there's more than one gender. Like, and it's a widely accepted idea amongst these young people. Right. So again, we're talking about the idea of options that are out there, and then we're talking about respect. That the respect, the destination of respect has so many roads today.
Right.
Leading to that. Is it
well,
all
there's really only
genuine?
There's really only
authentic?
one road to respect with a lot of exits.
Sure, but is it genuine and authentic? These different roads.
Right.
Probably not.
No.
Right. It's
but
not,
you know,
it's leading to the vicinity of a respect, but it's not leading to the genuine, authentic article.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, again, like just for music argument, right? Talking about these dickheads, the Island Boys.
Sure.
And then versus the music when we were growing up. Like, I liked all music growing up. Well, mostly like hip hop and R&B when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But I never put anybody, Snoop, Tupac, Dre, Warren G, any of them. I never put them up here where I was like, oh my God, this is like, you know, they're never, I'm not saying I didn't respect what they did or what, you know, the music they had, but I never looked up to them as a, like, oh man, like what did he, I mean, we didn't have it, I guess, back then, but you had magazines and shit, like, oh, you don't go to run to like Warehouse or like whatever music stores. What was the music store when you were younger?
The Warehouse.
Sam Goody?
Sam Goody.
Virgin Records.
Sure.
You don't go running and get the magazine like, oh, what did he say last time? Like, nobody gave a shit.
Right.
You listen to what they said, on their latest CD or whatever, and then it became just, I don't know, man, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm talking like an old man, but like, music is not music.
We are old, bro.
This is true.
We are old.
Very true.
I mean, again,
like any dickhead can grab a microphone and auto-tune and fucking put something on a 30-second TikTok and
that's
go
been the case for
viral.
the last 20 plus years, though.
Music-wise.
Music-wise.
Yes.
It's been the case, that what is that voice thing?
Auto-tune.
Auto-tune. So auto-tune has
T-Pain.
been around so long, right? Creating stars.
Who was the first one to use it?
There was a bunch. I mean, I'm pretty sure Britney Spears used auto-tunes.
Further back.
Oh, what?
Roger and Zapp.
Oh, yeah, but they had that. It was different.
I
Right?
think
They had
it's an
that-
auto-tune.
They had that pipe. I guess it was, but it was a sound effect that they were trying to accomplish. Most people that we're talking about was using the auto-tunes effect
Right.
because they couldn't sing,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like we're going off on a lot of different tangents about
Well, again,
respect, but
we're looking to talk about respect and what it is and how to gain it and how what's the reality of it and all these things that we're talking about again are just avenues that people took to gain eventual respect. Now, whether they landed in a genuine article, we can't say yes
Right.
or no, right? Because we don't know. It's pretty dependent on their happiness, and it's pretty dependent on how they view themselves in all actuality, right?
Right.
I mean, because you and I can say, oh man, we've gained levels of respect that we're happy with, but who's to say?
Right. Well, I don't think it's a measurement of what the most respect you can have, because I mean, you look at, for example, the highest position in the United States is the president, right?
Sure.
And I would say there's not a lot of people respecting that position right now.
Absolutely not. I mean, with all of the chants of the "Let's Go Brandon" and the
Yeah.
FJB,
Right.
yeah,
And that, that's maybe one side, but I would say nationally, there's not a whole lot of respect for that position any longer.
No.
I think.
no,
I could be wrong. And it's
We
has
saw
nothing to
it.
do with the individual.
no,
It has a collective group of what is that office that is no respect of.
sure, you're absolutely right.
And
I mean-
it's that old adage of, give respect to get respect.
Right.
That's how I mean, the two avenues of us growing up are two different sides of the spectrum. I was respected as a young man for being respectful and not really being an asshole. I'm not saying that's the opposite road you took, but different ways, right? You
Sure.
go put in work, you go put in work. And there's different levels of putting in work, but I don't give any respect to anybody that doesn't respect me. Ever. Never will.
Yeah. And so, like, a road that I took. So, again, I talk about playing in the streets. The people that influenced that move, I had these older cousins who were well respected in the streets for the work they put in. Whether it was, work.
Soup kitchens.
Yeah, soup kitchens or whatever, whatever the thing. I mean, it's like
Homeless
without
shelters.
without giving glory to those things that they did. I mean, hurting people, on behalf of their set, on behalf of their group,
Right.
or selling drugs, or getting gathering resources in that way, right? So these were the influences that I had growing up. So what were those options for me to gain my respect? Absolutely, those were options that, and then so what options did I take? I dabbled in a little bit of everything to gain it. Were those the means by which I got my respect? Some.
Mm-hmm.
And then in others, in other ways, I realized, through other things that I had going on. Like I ended up, being a dad at an early age. I ended up, marrying young. So, there were a lot of avenues, a lot of different things that had gone on, right? And we all figure these things out. We all kind of like sort our situations out to try to figure out how it is we're gonna, respect ourselves at the end of the day.
Right.
Right? And I'm sure these these Paul brothers, and I'm sure anybody else venturing in the way they are, at the end of the day, they're gonna have to ask them, answer for themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's just
is this respect real? Is this an authentic thing?
Right. It's just like in, I don't know, my past jobs, right? Like certain people who would just kiss ass all day. Like,
Whoa.
my thing is like, and I would say to them sometimes, how do you go home and look at yourself in the mirror? Like, how do you go home knowing that you literally sucked ass all day, and go home and look at your son in the eyes and know that you have balls still?
And knowing that they go home with this brown
Like
stain
zero
on
self-respect.
their nose.
Like, it's unbelievable.
If people were truly honest, as they should be, right? If they're truly honest with themselves, they would see that act of kissing ass, that act of giving away your self-respect. Right? They would see that as a problem. They would see that, and they would come to good terms with the idea that, hey, you know what? Everything, I'm not merited respect in this way.
Right.
In no way am I an example to my child, right? I mean, these are the things that they would come to understand in themselves,
Right.
and for themselves. And again, I mean, we wouldn't need to criticize these people. We wouldn't need to, because those things, those realizations would come to themselves.
We wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for people like them.
I mean, what are we trying to accomplish here?
Like, open your eyes and realize that, like Evan always says, we're all flawed.
Absolutely.
We're all flawed individuals, but have the respect enough for yourself to notice the flaws and accept the flaws and move on with those flaws. Because you're never going to be flawless, right?
Sure.
I mean, have respect enough to know that you need help, that you can ask for help, that you need medication, you need therapy, you need, I don't know, whatever you need. You have an addiction to shopping, whatever the fuck it is, just.
Yeah, that's pretty specific. You got an addiction to shopping.
I don't shop.
You in mine, bro?
No, I'm just saying this. I didn't know what else to do. Like, what am I gonna say? Your addiction to booze? Go ahead, deal with that. Drugs? No, there's only a few good things you can be addicted to that aren't.
So I mean,
If you're addicted to eating toilet paper, do what you do, but respect yourself enough to know you need help to address that weird issue, right? I mean,
so what we used to do at the door of O'Malley's. I mean, I think we try to influence through our different ways. We had different strategies, different tactics. We try to influence the people coming into our bar to be on their best behavior.
Right.
So my way of influencing them was like we always joke around that, I'm trying to spread rainbows and butterflies, right? I try to, give the hugs, fucking, I'm overly complimentary.
he was the Care Bear that would do
Sure,
this and the
yeah.
rainbow would come out.
Yeah, and that's my strategy, right? Because I felt that I had an over intimidating look, and I didn't want to bank on that intimidation, right? Because who needs that? His tactic was a little different. His tactic was to bank on the intimidation, or perpetuate that intimidating vibe, right? And he got the results. He got equal results, I'd say, right? Because people had the respect. There weren't brawls breaking out everywhere. There weren't people walking in and out of O'Malley's with drinks in hand, or leaving the bar with drinks like openly. So both of us were able to influence our patrons in that way, right? To be on their best behavior, different tactics, different measures. I mean, that's basically what we try to continue here, right? It's a matter of, you know, you our listeners are our new patrons, right? And we're just trying to influence a better move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we run into you, you know, being our listeners, and you know, we would hope that your way of addressing us, your way of dealing with us would be respectful. You'd have the sense of respect for yourself. You'd be a person that we could, you know, look to and you know, be cordial with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we definitely don't want to be cordial with unauthentic people or
Yeah, because that's fake.
yeah, we don't want to be cordial with people who, you know, who regurgitate these talking points of these media outlets who are just lying or
And to be fair, if we did run into you, this one here would be like, "Hey, doing?" And I would be a little standoffish at first.
Hey, man.
I'd be like, "Hey, you're a listener from Missouri.
Hey.
Tell me a little bit about yourself," and then I'll open up.
Yeah.
Speaking of the bar and respect, I used to hate it when, even when we were working at the same time and you were in the back or eating your fourth plate of chicken fingers that you didn't share with me ever, and I was in the front and people would just walk by me like I'm not standing there. Like, I mean, I'm 6 foot, 230 pounds. And I'm not as strong as he is. Girthy is a better word. Not as girthy as he is, but I'm still standing there in front of the door in a shirt that says O'Malley's.
Right.
So at that situation, you're not showing me any respect. So at that point, I mean, the turrets are up and the dogs are barking because I'm standing there to do a job.
Sure.
I don't know who you are. Just because you go there every weekend, that doesn't mean that you're going to get the respect from me to be like, "Oh, come on in, you drunk."
You prick.
Yeah, you prick. But, you know, we're there to do a job. I asked for your ID. Don't argue. That's another tip, listeners. Don't try to debate bouncers at your local watering holes as to why you need to pull out a fucking ID. You're not going to church. Right?
No.
You gotta show an ID to get into Disneyland if you have a pass.
Please believe.
And we're serving alcohol. So if there's a line of people, don't cross the line and be like, "Hey, what's up, man? How's Evan?" Because you know what? You don't give a fuck, and I don't give a fuck about you. You go stand on the line. Rant over.
A lot of rant. You said you don't rant.
No, I said we don't do a typical rant.
Man, look, I mean, I don't know. Are we doing a good job here of influencing our listeners? I don't know. You know, it remains to be seen.
Maybe not with that last comment.
But we definitely hope. We definitely hope to influence people in the right direction. I mean, I don't know. We have all kinds of complaints about you know the American youth today, right? All kinds of complaints about, you know, the idea that they find, you know, socialism and socialist ideas acceptable, right? They don't, you know, a lot of complaints about the evils of capitalism. A lot of complaints about, you know, the evils of you know, rich men and
yeah.
You know, did we have them complaints as kids? We probably did. Did we? But I think as you grow up, you realize, man, these people, you sacrifice things, right? You know, just like we were talking about these Island Boys and the Paul brothers, you sacrifice things to get, you know, those resources, get that notoriety. You sacrifice certain things, and I think, you know, a message that we look to perpetuate is that, man, certain sacrifices are going to be worth worth it at the end of the day. Certain sacrifices aren't going to be worth it at the end of the day. You have to find out for yourself. You have to assess yourself whether you know what side of the coin you fall on. What's a great way to do that? You know, we always talk about the importance of developing a good circle around you, right?
Speaking of circles, staring at this light has burned a permanent circle in my retina, and I can't get rid of it. It's like I have a permanent sniper scope in my vision.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Side note.
I'd say so.
I have enough respect for my eyes to know that this is bad.
This is
bad
not
for
good.
us.
Hey, but it's great lighting.
It does make us look good.
Yeah. Hey.
It's a magic light, apparently.
I'd say so.
I mean, do you not see that?
No. I do.
Close your eyes right now.
I do. It's a permanent.
It's unbelievable.
Permanent circle.
Christ almighty. Unreal. I can't even look at it anymore.
You can do it, man.
Anyway,
sacrifice.
So,
It's
I'll
an absolute
I'm sorry, people. I gotta sacrifice you looking at me. My goodness, these sunglasses in this motherfucker.
Hey, speaking of respect, how about them Raiders over the weekend?
What about them, bro? In the hunt. I'm supposed to be worried.
No.
Jesus, you know what has to happen? They need to win. Another team has to lose.
Listen,
Wait a
listen,
minute.
listen.
It has
I'm
to
not
snow in
saying-
downtown Los Angeles.
I'm not saying-
It's got to have a tornado.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Like you have spent a lot of time disrespecting the Raiders.
Yes.
No, I'm not a Raider fan.
As well as, you know what? I'm glad you brought them up.
I'm just saying.
I'm glad you brought them up.
I think as disrespectful as you've been, I think we've got to give them some kudos for the win over the weekend. I mean, and then you got to give credit to Cincinnati for the job that they put on your boys, man.
Yeah, they beat us. Still 11-5.
Jesus Christ, still 11-5. But man, Burrows, I'm slowly becoming a Burrows fan. I'm gonna chase some Burrows in next year's fantasy football.
Let's see if he can stay out of trouble.
Yeah. Stay healthy.
He looks like one of those kids that's gonna get a big head and go out and,
Go out and
do a mountain of cocaine and kill a stripper or something. Anyway,
run someone over.
Congratulations, Raiders, on your win.
Right.
I congratulated you when you beat the undermanned Redskins.
I thought it'd be fair.
I congratulated you when you beat the local high school team that played you last week. And now you beat the Colts. Good job. Hate away. Good job on the win.
Hey, I mean, listen. I just thought it'd be fair.
You're right.
Very, very respectful.
Sure.
If we gave kudos.
I'll be respectful.
After having given them like the shit.
And side note, as we're focusing on respect, I feel that David Carr should have respect enough for himself to get a fucking haircut.
To quit.
Or retire.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be the next head coach.
I mean, it could be.
And then his emails to Gruden be like, you know what, you're right. He'll come out and then he'll get kicked out of the league.
You're right, bro.
Just saying.
Yeah. I mean,
And another sports story. Sorry for the fans, the listeners that don't like sports, but the commissioner of Major League Baseball coerced MLB Network into getting rid of one of the best reporters in sports. And he reports on big stories. Like, he'll let us know who's going where before anybody else knows. Ken Rosenthal is, again, probably one of the greatest sports reporters there is.
Okay.
Not like broadcaster, not like that, but he's like a Mel Kiper or an insider, right?
Okay.
He's an insider. So he coerced MLB Network to get rid of him because of Ken Rosenthal's take on the commissioner's handling of the 2020 COVID season.
Wow.
Convinced the network to get rid of.
That's influence. That's respect.
It's not respect.
I mean,
that's bending the knee.
He's got that much respect.
No, it's not about respect. It's
How is he able to coerce this?
He said pull him off,
Uh-huh.
or we will not have put games on the network.
He was able to garner
That's bullshit, man.
that. I mean, sure,
That's
sure.
that's
But
tyrannical.
your ability
That's
to
tyrannical.
make things move in that direction is obviously
Rob
respect.
Manfred is a fucking clown.
It's obviously someone's got respect for his ass.
Nobody has respect. It's fear for not having
Sure.
Major League Baseball Network not
Fear,
being able to
respect,
broadcast any
call it
baseball
what you
games.
want.
That's two different things.
Call it what you
That's
want.
not fucking respect.
He got people to move.
The fact that you are backing a tyrant.
I'm not backing him up.
You are.
I'm just
You're
saying.
defending a
He
tyrant.
was able to do something. He was able to accomplish his goal
So
of getting rid
you're
of Teddy Roosevelt.
you're an advocate of Saddam
Not.
Hussein.
I'm not an advocate.
You're an advocate of
I'm just taking notice.
Al-Qaeda.
I'm just taking notice of this guy's ability to get people's.
I will compare Rob Manfred and Al Qaeda.
Okay.
Terroristic group, terroristic people responsible for horrible things. Commissioner of Major League Baseball can officially eat a dick.
Get it, Nick.
Bag of dicks.
Yeah, I said, listen, I agree with you, man. His, his that move is absolutely fucking underhanded.
Just because you don't like the way he reported on
Sure.
your shitty handling of a baseball season,
Sure.
just wait till he's a freelance guy. Doesn't have to report to nobody. He's gonna rip your ass
Oh
open.
man, I mean, if this guy's got enough of an audience, he
Ken
can go
Rosenthal
ahead.
will be on.
He can podcast his way to
Oh God.
shit.
He'll be doing insider trading for Fox by end of day tomorrow.
Think so?
100%.
You got it. So you've developed a lot of respect for this
Ken Rosenthal. I'm
I
telling you.
mean, he's
if-
obviously garnered a lot of
If
respect.
somebody says
I mean, if you respect him.
if somebody says Mike Trout's going to the Yankees, random, it could be the Angels organization tweeted it. I'm not believing it until it says at Ken Rosenthal. Bottom line, because it's never factual until he backs it. That's how much respect and credit that guy's got.
That guy's got some credentials.
Yep. He's like the little short guy at NFL, Adam something. Ah, that guy's good too.
Ah, that guy.
Adam? Is it Adam? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Same.
Obviously, you don't know.
They're both really
who that
short
guy
too,
is.
which is weird. Rosenthal's like 5'4", and the other guy in the NFL's like, I think he might be legally a midget.
Oh yeah. You know, on another note, because staring at ourselves in this camera, we don't realize that our Spotify audience doesn't know anything about our new YouTube videos. So if you're listening to us on Spotify, go to YouTube, check us out on the Dorman channel, subscribe.
You can see what we look like.
You can see what we look like. If you approve or not, go ahead and drop us a comment,
Yes, please.
please. I mean, we're not looking for your
Something
approval,
respectful, okay?
We're not looking for your approval, but go ahead and let us know what's up.
Mhm.
Let us know you're listening. We appreciate you.
Give us some tips on how to keep this literal light of the sun out of my eyeballs.
You gotta love it, dude.
I don't understand how you.
I'm just.
I was driving home the
We've come
last
a long
time we
way,
did
bro.
this,
We've come a long
and I
way.
was like, I closed my eyes. I thought I was in the ring for a second. I was like, what the? Oh, the stupid light
The ring.
burned a hole in my eye.
That's the ring.
Unbelievable.
There you gotta love it. So, respect. Have we gotten our point across?
I don't know. We did talk an awful lot about boxing.
Yeah. What better way to earn some respect than box?
Mm.
Hmm?
Yep. Not like the Paul brothers.
I don't know, man. You know what, Paul brothers, I definitely give you guys respect.
I would tell you,
Yeah.
Evan, as long as I've known you, and if you had fights like that and you were picking on people who were old or completely out of your weight class, or you were bigger
that
than,
would be like me smacking up on the Island Boys.
I understand. And if you were to come at me and be like, yo, my hands are getting, so I'll be like, you have absolute fucking bully.
Yeah, hey, I'm definitely not a bully, man. I never took pleasure in
Understood, but I'm saying if you were to just go around mopping up the Island Boys and all their identical twins,
right. And
I
there's a lot of them out there.
wouldn't have
any respect.
any respect for you. That I mean, I would have the ongoing respect, but you wouldn't get any more respect.
That wouldn't.
You beat up those fucking kids,
That
man.
wouldn't. The respect meter
Yeah,
wouldn't be rising.
yeah, it'd be stagnant at about 50%.
Well, look, you're not going to see me beating up on any Allen boys, okay? So, hey, you know, however it is you guys are gaining your notoriety, man, kudos to you. Funny hairdos and the ink on your face. Man,
Imagine they turn the camera off and they go wash their face and it's all comes off.
You know what? I thought a lot of those things looked fake on their face.
Yeah, they're too dark.
Just bright.
Like they're always brand like brand new tattoos every time.
Sure, it looks, yeah, it definitely looks that way. I don't know.
They take off the wigs.
It's a new
and they
world.
Go play
I mean,
Nintendo or
I
something.
think we started noticing it before, but with that Cash Me Outside chick, like that, like the idea that little girl got all of that notoriety
For being an asshole.
for being a dick to her mom.
Yeah.
It's weird. It was weird. It's weird. And then now she's got an OnlyFans page.
OnlyFans just making bank.
making millions.
I mean, again, no self-respect, man.
I mean, hey, listen. If
you're
she
putting
can
your
look at herself,
butthole on a picture and getting paid for it, that's no respect.
if she can look at herself in the mirror and be absolutely,
can.
truly happy, who knows? I don't. Who's to say?
I think you're happy when you're spending that money,
Sure.
but when the lights go off and the world is at a standstill,
Who's to say?
this is when I get poetic. And the world's at a standstill,
Oh,
and you have
the poetry.
only but your soul to look at. Then you realize you were a piece of shit.
My man's going hard, man, as he always does. He's always
Oh,
going hard.
Christ.
What's the moral of today's talk, man? Respect yourself.
RESBCT.
Respect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Gain
And-
that respect.
Let's get back to good music.
Yeah.
It's secondary.
Yeah.
God, I wish.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, music plays on my phone. I'm like,
What's a good
remember that song?
what's a good rendition of I mean, what's a good song?
I mean, there's so many good
Give us
ones.
give us one
And
something.
look,
Give us something.
you're the crooner.
So give me a
And here's the thing.
example.
Give us a song. And it can't be Frank Sinatra.
Why not?
Or John
you're
Legend.
kidding me. Oh, no, man. You know, nothing comes to mind right now.
Mm.
I mean, if you have an idea of a good one, I totally built out my rendition of it.
Okay. You're Welcome by Dwayne Johnson.
Well, what can I say except you're welcome?
There you go. Very good.
That's good music.
That is good. I'd rather listen to that on loop than
That's
half
some
the shit that's on the
redemption
radio now.
Oh, pirates, yes, they rob I.
I think that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd rather listen to. Wait a minute.
Mm.
Betty White died.
Ah, rest in peace.
Man,
Man, there's a lot of
that was crushing.
a lot of legends are gone.
That was crushing.
I mean, we lost Chente, Betty White,
John
what's the-
Madden.
John Madden. Oh my goodness, man. I was watching a little something on John Madden and how respected he was. Man, when he moved over, they were talking about when he moved, when Fox picked him up.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
The notoriety that followed him just for his name.
Just because his name was glued to now, well, then Fox Sports. Fox Sports became like the next best thing as
Yeah.
far as.
That's how Fox was
Sports
able to buy the
broadcasting.
Dodgers after he got Madden.
Wow. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
unbelievable, man. Rest in peace, man.
I don't even want to know who's next. I can't deal with it anymore.
Man, well, they say it came in threes. Was that third? Was that the third?
There's Chente, Madden, Betty White.
Chente, man? Wow,
So we have a whole new cycle, folks. God. It's. I don't even want to talk about
It's
it.
heartbreaking.
I'm not gonna bring it up.
It's all right. Hey,
I have an
rest in
idea
peace
who's next.
to the three legends.
And when it happens, I'm gonna take a month off for the podcast.
Oh,
Or
no,
more.
Don't do it.
It's unbelievable.
Don't say his name out
I won't.
loud. Is it his name? Anyway, think with that.
No perfect scenario, no perfect world.
No perfect world, no perfect scenario.
Wow.
Well, we lost three. I think we ended with that.
I lost 3 of them. Super bummer.
With that, I think we go out.
That's that.
Make some songs. Rest in peace, big dogs.